Welcome to A Rare Reality, a podcast powered by Jordan's Guardian Angels. I'm Christina Janes, Director of Outreach and Awareness for JGA, and I am so excited to be joined today by Michelle Frushine, also known as MamaBearForRare. Hi, you. I'm so happy to see you.
How are you? Thanks for having me.
So good. It's so fun. I'm thrilled that we can chat today because, my goodness, for someone who is new to this sort of social media space and becoming an influencer of sorts in the rare disease space, it's unbelievable.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's definitely been a journey, but one that I think that we took something that wasn't so positive and made it into a positive, and we've reached a large community, and it's been amazing.
I mean, it's incredible because I think that you were in the beginning kind of concerned about, once you've gotten your diagnosis, okay, how do we spread the word about this? How do we talk about Jordan's syndrome and Jordan's guardian angels and have these conversations? How do I make my presence known on social media? What's that going to be like? But then you did it and you jumped in with both feet and you have an unbelievable following now. And I mean, it's been amazing. I mean, truly.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it really was something that I never pictured doing. I didn't know that I was going to even blog about it, but it just kind of felt natural when, nothing was really working for me. I was in the grieving process and I didn't know how to deal with Haley and her diagnosis and feeling so isolated and alone. And there were communities I found on social media for other diseases and, Jordan syndrome. I found you guys, and I feel like our community was so small, but it's insane how quickly we've grown in the past, I don't know, 6 or 7 months. I feel like every day we're welcoming someone new. And, I just feel like this community has grown, and it's beautiful to see that, there's not people sitting in the dark still and they're getting their answers because, speaking from my experience, I was in the dark for a few months, really. It was only 8 months where there have been people sitting in the dark for years and years trying to get answers. So I feel lucky and fortunate that we were able to have some kind of direction early on in Haley's life.
Yeah, and I think that part of it too is that in talking about Jordan syndrome, you're bringing it out to the world. And so much of that doesn't happen in the rare disease space because there are many rare diseases. There are very few ultra rare diseases. There are, but they're not talked about as much as some of the more prominent rare diseases, if that makes sense. So you have children who have been diagnosed with, say, cystic fibrosis, right?
Right.
That's more out in the world. But something like Jordan syndrome is not talked about because it's not really known in the world. So by talking about it, by bringing awareness to it, by talking about the symptoms, I mean, you are helping to grow this community and to also show people that, oh my gosh, like we don't know what's going on with our child, but maybe this is it. Maybe we need to get that testing done.
I think it's so helpful because I think that, thinking back to her early days, I was on the internet constantly and
Right.
there really was nothing fitting her. I mean, there were things that I was like, oh, maybe she has this, maybe she has that, but nothing was giving me an answer that said, okay, this is definitely, I feel this in my heart that this is what she has. And it was one of the most isolating times in my life because I just felt like I was grabbing at straws and nothing was sticking. I just couldn't find anything. And I think a really big turning point for me when I was questioning, should I keep doing this? Does it look silly on social media? Some people don't really understand the purpose. And, I had reached out to many of you and I said, should I keep doing this? Someone wrote something really negative about my daughter and her appearance. And as her mother, it was heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. And there was a moment where I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't have the heart to do it. I don't. And you guys just said, keep pushing, keep doing it. It's for advocacy. It's for your daughter. It's for all the children. And I pushed through it. And I feel like, knock on wood, I haven't had any hateful, negative comments. I've only really seen positivity and I've connected with so many different people. And then one of the mothers who I spoke to early on, she said, one day you're going to be sitting there just like I am, and you're going to be helping someone and you're going to tell them it's going to be okay. And within a few months, I was, and I felt like I was maybe not on the other side of it, but I was getting there,
Mhm.
through blogging and through my Instagram videos that were silly and fun, but really informative for people. But one day someone reached out to me and said, I was searching the internet, I was looking for groups, and, I really couldn't find anything because their doctor didn't know about Jordan's
Right.
Angels, and they saw me all over Instagram, and then I connected them with Jordan's Guardian Angels, which is, our family, my family. And
Yeah.
that was just a moment for me where I knew it was something I was
It
meant to do.
it gives me the chills because I think that those things are so meant to happen, and it's that experience of like, what if you had never done this? What if you hadn't taken the plunge to put yourself out there, to put your family out there and Haley out there? What if you hadn't done that, and then that person hadn't found you and was still looking today for answers, and hoping that maybe they'd be able to figure this out at some point. And it's amazing the power of social media, for good and for bad, but I think that in many ways, to be able to have that happen, I mean, it's priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely a turning point in,
Yeah.
my why. And
Yeah.
it was a really beautiful moment for me.
Oh, I want to talk a little bit about the trolls. I mean, we all know that there's lots of internet trolls out there. They get the opportunity to hide behind a computer and say everything that they feel. How do you process something like that? Because I know you and I had a lot of conversations about it when it happened originally, and so did a number of the other team members here at JGA. But how do you deal with that? How do you reconcile that? Because, I mean, for me, it's like, okay, you have your own set of issues if that's what you're going through,
Right.
your own pain. But as a parent, it's harder when it's directed at your child.
There was a lot of guilt associated with that. I felt almost guilt. Like, did I do this? Did I ask for this by putting my daughter out there? And then it was those feelings of, is one day she going to hate me for this?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot to work through, and to get to the matter is, yeah, it's worth it, because for that one comment, or those one or two trolls, there's so many other people that were just coming to my side saying,
Right.
we're here for you. Like, don't listen to this. And it was just the community, just, they were there for me. And that was powerful enough to know that, it doesn't matter. These people, like you said, they're hiding behind a screen. And for someone to talk about a child with a disability, it's just, I don't know. I almost felt sorrow for them, because, it's just
Exactly.
something that I can't fathom someone, who isn't hurting themselves, inside. There's obviously something going
Right.
on that's deeply rooted for them to go after a child. So,
Right.
I looked at it as, I'm still doing more good than the negativity. So I just kept powering on, and, I still process it
Sure.
from time to time. I think probably the most effective thing would be my blogging.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of friends that say, I never see you, negative or upset, and you don't really talk about it that much. And I said, well, this is my outlet. And, I don't want it to be my whole life is, this is what we're going through. It is, it's a big part of our life, but we want to look at the positive and
Mm-hmm.
celebrate all the beautiful, as we say, inch stones, and the wonderful things that Haley's doing, the other children, and science, and the advancements. So, I think that outlet is so healthy for me, and for so many other people doing the same thing I'm doing, so that we don't have to spend our time constantly talking about how we're sad, or, we feel a certain way about whatever's happening.
Yeah. I think one of the most beautiful things about following you on social media when you talk about all of this is that you're talking about it in a positive light. Your positivity is infectious because it brings so much joy. I mean, to look at Haley and all the things that she does, and to show, I mean, you are bogged down with appointments and things that you have to be at, and doctors and occupational therapists, but you make it positive and you radiate this positivity. I mean, I know that it's not always like that. I know that it's social media. I know that things are hard, but you have chosen to do this in a positive way that also shows the real.
Yeah, that's something I think is really important, is, it's not something that, we're happy about. We obviously want the best for our child. So,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, it's not always positive. It's not always happy. It's appointments and medications and different things we need to do for her. But we do want to shine light on the fact that it is hard, but there's so much beauty that comes from everything. I mean,
Yeah.
all her therapy, it's hard for her. It doesn't come easily for her. And to see her sitting up and almost becoming an independent sitter, she's 2 in February, and I never thought I'd see the day where she'd be sitting independently. I'm getting a little emotional because
It's amazing.
I know it's just, I see these other children her age that are running, and while it brings me sadness, at times for my child,
Mm-hmm.
I see what she's doing, what Haley's doing, and the progress and all the hard work that she's putting in and we're putting in and our community's putting in. It pays off and it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what we want everyone to see,
Absolutely. And it's working. I mean, she's going to do everything in her own time, and she will hit all of the inch stones, as we so say, as she can and will. And we will celebrate those with you, with her, with the whole community, because it's so important to see those things happen too. But I just think that the way that you go about talking about it all is such a breath of fresh air, because it is so important to talk about all the beauty that comes from rare disease and special needs and all of these communities across the globe. So I really thank you for that. And quickly, you've got a lot going on. So for moms who are at home right now who are watching this and thinking, I don't have time for that. I mean, you're juggling work, your family, Haley's appointments, this social media brand. So how are you finding the time to do all of these things?
Coffee. I love coffee.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because it's such a passion of mine, and I find it to be almost therapeutic, and an outlet. I make the time. Yeah. And that's something I think is so important, that you make the time for what makes you happy and what helps you and what you need. And I'm lucky to have such a supportive husband and family who give me that time. Mm-hmm. And if they don't, I take it anyway. I can. But yeah, it's just
sorry, Drew.
Sorry. But he knows it's important to me as well. And he makes time to do things for himself and for the community in his own way. So we're able to balance that. And we're lucky that we have 2 children who are learning patience, my son especially, and he gives me that time too. I think he doesn't fully understand, Haley and her diagnosis, but he does understand human nature, and we're lucky that he is so keen and aware of what's happening. So, we're lucky and fortunate to have such a good community and family dynamic.
So advice now for someone who's watching you right now thinking, okay, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I'd want to do this. I'm not sure if I could put myself out there in that way. Like, what's your advice for getting started?
Don't care about what you think people are going to say, because if you don't do it, people are going to say something. If you do it, people are going to say something. People are always going to say something. So let them say something positive and learn something from you, and just put yourself out there. It's the first video or post or live chat or whatever it is that you want to do. Once you do it and you, like you said, you have both feet in, go for it. It's almost like an exhilarating thing, like being able to share, a vulnerable part of your life with others, and then them seeing another side of you, or see something that they never thought they would, or just honestly being educated about your child. It's so important that people are able to connect with you in that way instead of always wondering.
Yeah, I think it's such a good point. So, Michelle, thank you. I mean,
thank you.
From all of us here at Jordan's Guardian Angels, we adore you. We appreciate you and everything that you're doing for our community, for our kids, for all that you're doing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We love you. You know that.
We love you. We are lucky to have you guys, and you're just an amazing community and support, and we're just so grateful for you. So thank you.
We love these kids. We are, it's nonstop until we find a treatment or a cure for Jordan syndrome. So we're all in it together. And Michelle, thank you. please say hi to the rest of your family and give Haley a hug too.
I will. Thank you.
Good. Yes. And for those of you who have not heard our other podcasts, you can find them on Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts as well. Or you can watch the video version on our website, jordansguardianangels.org. It's always up and on there and available. So thanks for joining us. And Michelle, thank you. We will see you at Mama Bear for Rare. We'll link all of your social media handles to this podcast as well.
Thank you so much.